Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of We Should Cook That. This week we're going to try to recreate the chicken and French toast from Marietta Local, located in Marietta, Georgia. I'm sure most of you have heard of chicken and waffles, but this is a whole nother level. So this dish has three main elements: the chicken, the French toast, and some southern fried apples. And to be honest, I have no freaking clue why they're called fried apples, because they are literally in no way, shape, or form fried whatsoever. But anyways, we're going to start making our fried apples by cutting up 3 Granny Smiths. Additionally, we'll need 4 tablespoons of butter, 2.5 tablespoons of white sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, and the juice of half of 1 lemon. And we're basically just going to melt the butter and then toss the apples in there with a little bit of lemon juice and just let all that buttery goodness soak up into those bad boys for a few minutes. And after your butter and apples have gotten to know each other pretty well, we're going to go ahead and just toss both the white and the brown sugar in the pan and give it a good stir. And then once your sugar has dissolved into pretty much a syrup and your apples are to your desired softness, you can go ahead and toss in the cinnamon. And there you go, southern fried apples. Now, whenever I make French toast, I like to use challah bread because it's just so dang good. And the coolest part is the cross section looks smack like a cloud, or the Salesforce logo. So I personally like pretty thick French toast, so I'm cutting these guys at about 1 inch thick, but you can do whatever you want, and Marietta Local does theirs at about 1/2 inch thick. Now, to make our toasts French, we're going to make a little bath of 2 eggs and about 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Whisk to combine, and we're going to let our bread soak for about 30 seconds on each side. The challah bread soaks up liquid pretty quickly, so if you're using stale bread or just a normal sliced bread, which is totally fine, you can leave it in there to soak a little longer, like maybe a minute or so. Make sure your pan is nice and warm and toss in about 1 tablespoon of butter before dropping in our 2 slices of wet bread. Now, one thing I like to do is add just a little dusting of sugar to my French toast, just to kind of give it a little bit more caramelization and crust. But unfortunately, I learned today that this is not the best pan I've got for French toast, as it kind of cooked unevenly, as you can see. But hey, that's alright, it still ended up absolutely insane, and these bad boys are going to make one heck of a vessel for a fried chicken. And speaking of fried chicken, today I'm going to be using chicken thighs. Now, I like to trim up some of this dangly fat just because I'm not a huge fat guy, but feel free to leave that John on there if you're a complete psychopath. Now, for our chicken bath, we're going to need 2 eggs combined with 2 cups of buttermilk, and for our chicken dredge, we will need 2 cups of flour along with 2 teaspoons of salt and a teaspoon each of cayenne pepper, black pepper, and garlic powder. Now, in a heavy-walled, deep pot, we're going to fill up about halfway with canola oil and heat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit before we dip our chickens in the buttermilk bath and then coat generously with our flour dredge. You really want to press it in there and make sure that every little bit is covered with flour. Then carefully place your chicken into the oil and set a timer for 12 to 14 minutes or until golden brown like this. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is definitely some of the best fried chicken I've ever made texture-wise. It had that crunch you really want, but was still nice and juicy on the inside. And that's pretty much all she wrote. This dish isn't super difficult, and if I weren't filming every step of the way, it'd probably only take like 30 or so minutes start to finish, so I definitely recommend giving it a shot. Now all that's left is to plate her up. Can't forget those delicious apples, and of course, this dish would not be complete without an absolute smothering of real Vermont maple syrup. This one absolutely blew my mind, and I even told my wife I think it's the best dish I've ever made for the show to date. Well, it might not be my favorite, but it's definitely up there. But hey, thanks so much for watching this week. Leave a comment down below if there's anything you'd like to see me make in the future. I'm always up for ideas, and if you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe so we can get to that 200 subscriber goal and finally unveil my right hand. Oh yeah, and pro tip, If you like to live life on the wild side, just crack open a fresh bottle of hot sauce and sprinkle a couple drops of that sweet, sweet nectar onto this bad boy. You will not regret it.